cool. So today we're talking about hip flexor strength, and actually hip flexors are probably the most neglected piece of human anatomy outside of the couch stretch, which was popularized by K-Star, right? Didn't invent it, he just made it popular. Just be careful right there. But the problem is that that has nothing to do with it. We can stretch the crap out of the rectus femoris, the iliacus, the psoas, the pectineus, the TFL, the two smaller adductors, and even the gracilis, and we're still gonna have problems. The issue with the hip flexor is, here, let's put this down so I can get a good talk on. So the issue with the hip flexor is that they're really weak, and they become weak because they get trained in a suboptimal position. So if you're sitting, or you're like driving, or sitting in front of a computer, or just sitting in front of your TV a whole bunch of times, don't do that. That's really bad for you. Get out and move. Your hip flexors are being trained to be short, weak, and very inefficient. Hip flexors, aside from doing hip flexion and driving the knees forward, they also stabilize the spine, stabilize the entire lumbopelvic hip complex. Remember, that whole bucket, we need to keep that filled with water so that bucket doesn't pull. That's your pelvis, right? The bucket is your pelvis. I forgot to iterate that. So what I'm saying is the bucket is your pelvis. It's filled with water. Your body does everything it can to keep from spilling a drop. The lumbopelvic hip complex is governed primarily by the most under-trained and the most left by the wayside muscle group on earth, which is the hip flexors, or which are the hip flexors. And this is why they need to be trained, because they allow functional movement, proper functional movement of everything else you do in your body, and they're always neglected. So I'm going to show you a couple of drills to strengthen your hip flexors. We already know how to flex them, or how to stretch them. Now we need to actually strengthen them. So I'm going to show you how to do that, make them rock solid so your back pain goes away, so your hips function properly, probably shave time off your 40, and you know what, you just last longer, you live longer. It's just that simple, all right? You ready? With a double bent, all right? So you're going to get back in your straight leg raised position. Keep one leg bent, one knee bent. The hip flexed at 45, the knee flexed at about 100. So the reason I have that is because it's going to take the strain off your lumbar spine. You're going to kick this leg out. Knee is locked in full extension, and I'm just going to raise the knee up. So I'm going to hold this for a good 30 seconds. This isn't a 2-minute drill. Once I hit 30 seconds, I'm going to do 5 quick little pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now I do that entire rotation 10 times, 3 sets. Remember, this isn't stuff you do every day. This is stuff you do probably 3 times a week. So that's number 1. To the other. So what we do is we get up against the wall. You're in full extension at the elbows, right? And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to raise the knee, keeping the foot dorsiflexed. Up, hold 1 second, down. 1 1,000, back down. 1 1,000, back down. 1 1,000, back down. I promise you this, your hip flexors are going to be on fire. All right, that position and a hip drive. So we're going to get in quadruped. I'm going to go about a foot wide at my knees, so I'm about a foot wide here. Let's go like this so you can actually see what I'm doing. And then I'm just going to take my knee and I'm going to drive it to the elbow. And then back down. Good. And then you're going to do 3 sets of 10 each side. What I don't want you to do is this. You're not a dog. You're not peeing on a fire hydrant. That's number 3. Get up on the wall. You're going to go about a foot away, or a foot between your feet. You're going to go about 3 feet from the wall. Hands, elbows, everything fully extended, and you're just going to drive your knee like Muay Thai style, just driving the knee into your opponent, and you're just going to drive up and then back down. 3 sets of 10 each side. You want to get rid of a whole bunch of problems and actually get way faster at all the stuff you do athletically? Do that. You want to live longer and walk better and increase your range of motion? Train your hip flexors. Hey, listen, I'm Trev, SmashweRx, hanging out on a super amazing hot Saturday. Love you guys. I'll check you guys.